a woman named Salome, appears just twice in the entire Gospel, both times in the Gospel according to St. Mark. At the end of Jesus' passion, he's on the cross, he breathes his last. Chapter 15, verse 40, St. Mark tells us, "There were also women looking on from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James the younger, and of Joseph, and Salome. When he was in Galilee, they followed him and ministered to him, and there were also many other women who came up with him to Jerusalem." In chapter 16 of St. Mark's Gospel, Jesus has been buried in the tomb, and the holy women are now coming to anoint his body. Chapter 16 begins, "When the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices, so that they might go and anoint him. And very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb." The chapter I'm about to read will tell you who this Salome is. It will perhaps remind us that the Gospels we have are like a vehicle stripped down to the absolute minimum required to reach its destination. It's a necessity because you just can't get all the information that the evangelist knew on a single scroll, and they really had to be portable documents and copyable documents rather than a whole library full of works which would never be copied. And this is what we've been left with for 19 centuries until our Lord, well, actually before that, this was given to Maria of Agreda, Venerable Mary of Agreda, but she was ordered to destroy it and then reproduce it from memory, which made it defective in its details, not in its doctrine, because the Church affirms Mary of Agreda's writings as doctrinally sound. But we want the detail, and Jesus knows that, and he knows we need the detail, and that's why he gave it to us through Maria Valtorta back in the mid-20th century. Volume 2, Chapter 152 of the Poem of the Man God. In Zebedee's house, Salome is accepted as a disciple. A vision given to Maria Valtorta on the 2nd of May, 1945. Jesus is in a house, which from what the people living in it say, I understand to be the house of John and James. With Jesus, beside the two apostles, there are Peter and Andrew, Simon Zealot, the Iscariot, and Matthew. I do not see the others. James and John are most happy. They come and go from their mother to Jesus and vice versa, like butterflies, which do not know which of two equally loved flowers they should prefer. Mary Salome, who is also most happy, caresses each time her big boys, while Jesus smiles. They must already have had their meal, because the table is still laid. But the two disciples at all costs want Jesus to eat some bunches of white grapes, which their mother has preserved, and which must be as sweet as honey. What would they not give Jesus? But Salome wants to give and receive something better than grapes and caresses. And after being lost in thought for a little while, looking at Jesus, then at Zebedee, she makes up her mind. She goes near Jesus, who is sitting with his back to the table, and kneels down before him.